Hi guys, Martin here with a first look at Formula Fusion, an anti-gravity racer recently released on Steam Early Access. Now, the first thing you're probably going to be thinking when you first fire up Formula Fusion is, this looks a lot like Wipeout. Well, any similarities are no coincidence. That's because the team at Middlesbrough-based studio R8 Games are primarily made up of ex-Psygnosis developers who worked on Wipeout 3 at the time. We've started to see a resurgence in futuristic racing games lately, with games such as Radial G, Redout, and Fast Racing Neo all due to land this year. But Formula Fusion is currently the closest you're probably going to get to a true Wipeout spiritual successor, since Sony Liverpool Studios was shut down in 2012. As with most early access releases, this is a very early alpha version. As such, it hasn't been fully optimised yet, and all the visual effects you see are work in progress. Even the menus are very basic, with limited graphic settings. You can only choose between predetermined low, medium and high settings, and you have to manually type in the resolution. I've had to run it on the low settings just to keep the resolution high and the frame rate stable, but I was still able to get it running at 60 frames with these settings with no problem. The overall package is very bare bones at the moment, to say the least. In the current build you only get one ship and one track set in New York City, with 3 variations, race mode and time trial, but we'll no doubt see more content in future builds. Playing Formula Fusion is very challenging. If, like me, you are never very good at Wipeout, you'll find yourself constantly grinding against the nearest wall if you don't modulate your speed. You have to anticipate each corner and strategically apply the twin air brakes to turn into the tighter corners. The one available ship is very heavy to handle and slow, but then it is part of the entry level class. Higher classes will contain faster and lighter craft with better cornering capabilities. It would be nice though if you could control the altitude, as it's currently fixed. The track design of the circuit in this build is very good. It takes a lot of skill to get a fast time or good race position. You really have to learn the layout of the track and where all the boost pads are, but it's very satisfying when everything comes together and you get into a flow. Formula Fusion's visual style evokes the spirit of Wipeout. I love the design of the ships, the gritty, neon-lit cityscapes, and of course the soundtrack that accompanies the action, which was always a staple of Wipeout. The 2 tracks can get quite repetitive, but they are very infectious all the same.
In the future, we will all be made of stars.
You can also race the same track in reverse and at night. Here you can see the night version of the circuit in action. There's some very nice visual effects as well, particularly with the reflections, although my graphics card probably doesn't do it justice. You'll see now I've actually memorised the track a bit more in this run and stay competitive before a one-on-one duel at the end. Like in Wipeout, there are also weapon power-ups. In the current build there are only a couple of weapons available though, including rockets which you can fire at opponents by picking up the power-up and holding the fire button to lock onto the target. Power-ups are no longer random either anymore. You're stuck with the weapon you select before the race. So, what we've seen so far shows a lot of potential, and there's definitely a lot here for Wipeout fans to like. Formula Fusion is currently planned for release on PC next year, with console versions also a possibility. Right now you don't get a lot of content for the asking price, but future content is on the horizon, and if you want to support the developers, then Formula Fusion is well worth the investment. I'm going to leave you with some more Wipeout style gameplay for now, but we'll be bringing you more Formula Fusion as it develops.